another function module called ZAA Demo Debugger 01 go through. Okay, and in this function module, I will show you like what F7 button does. Okay, so the next button inside of the debug mode is return button or F7. Okay, so if you press F7 or click on this button, it's going to do the same. So this button is going to process everything else that is after this line of code 25. Is going to execute this function module, is also going to execute this function module, and we will stop on the breakpoint statement right here. Okay, so it's going to process everything inside of here and go up one level up from this function module. Hopefully it makes sense. If something is not clear to you, just let me know to the comments so that I can then help you. So F7, and that's what has happened. We have executed rest of the program inside of the function module and stepped away or went out from this function module and stopped on the next executable line of code. Okay, in this case, it's called breakpoints. Let's move on. F5. So welcome back. F6, in this case, such single step can be done using F6 as well. Okay, so right now, if you would ask me, okay, like what would happen if I would press F6 instead of F5 on a statement where I don't get inside of any subroutine? So the answer is that nothing special would happen. Like you can, in this case, you can use F5 or F6 and it's still going to do the same. Okay, so in my case, if I press F6 right now, it's going to execute this line of the code and it's going to put into a variable content F6. Okay. Now skip processing this subroutine. So now if we don't want to get in to this subroutine and we just want to process this program or this source code inside of the subroutine and just stop here on the next statement, which of these buttons am I going to use? F5, F6, F7 or F8? Okay, so let me give you a few seconds. So once again, the goal is to make sure that we process the logic inside of the subroutine and stop on the next statement, which is call function setDemoDebugger01 go in 3. Okay, so if you have guessed that F6 execution inside of the subroutine and stopping on the next executable line of code is the answer, then you guessed it correctly. So if I click on F6, that's actually what has happened. I executed code inside and stopped on line 36. So now F5, this is your last time being here in this program, because what we want to do, we want to get here inside, and I want to show you like how you can execute the rest of the program from even being inside of the subroutine. So let's press F5 as it is instructed in the comment. All right, so now another important thing to realize once we get inside of the subroutine is the following. In the variables list, you can see that all my variables that I could see their values inside of the main program are currently set by SAP. It's called invalid variable. What has happened? Because if I go back in a call stack to the main program, suddenly I can see that their values or values of these variables are F5 and F6, which is what I expect. But what is important to realize that once you get to a subroutine, these variables don't exist anymore because these variables exist for the program itself. However, in a function module, if you get to a function module, it's like a program in a program, but it's much smaller program which can be again used as a repetitive program in multiple other places. Okay, so it's important to realize that anytime you are dealing with subroutines, their variables variables from the main program do not exist in there and you cannot use them. So that's why you have to declare your own variables like this one. Okay, so if I use data statement inside of a subroutine, inside of the function module, and I double click on the name LV your name, okay, that's the name, you can see that this LV variable is present here. GV variables are invalid. And as you can see, there is a difference in the naming that we as developers use. GV compared to LV, there's a different name. Reason why we change the namings is the following. If I go back to the program, to the main program, suddenly you can see that these two global variables are valid. Local is invalid because I'm out of the function module right now. But global variables, anytime we as developers create variables in the main program, these are called globals. Anytime we create variables inside of any subroutine, either its form, function module, method, we are declaring them as a local because they are valid only locally inside of the subroutine. Okay. Later on, if we will get into more complex programs, I can show you like how potentially you can get global variables inside of the subroutines, which is not the best practice, but many times you can see that the developers are doing it. That's also the reason why these variables are global, because you can somehow use global variables also inside of subroutines. Again, I can show you later on. For now, the main purpose is that you can create variables inside of the subroutine and we name them as a local variables because you cannot use them anywhere else, just inside here, just inside of the subroutine. Okay, so what am I going to do right here is that I'm going to put the name inside of the variable called LV your name. So change the value of this variable to your name. Okay, so if I press F5 right now, I stop on line 22, and on line 22, so far LV your name contains the name John. But probably your name is not John, at least not in my case. My name is called Ladislav, and here is what we are going to do. I'm going to show you that inside of the debug mode, in order to, let's say for testing purposes, we can change the value of the variable. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to click on this button, change field content, and I'm going to change John into Ladislav. Enter. Okay, suddenly this variable contains variable Ladislav. So this if statement, this if condition is going to check if LV your name equals John. If it still equals John, I'm going to, I would be displaying red icon telling me that I didn't change the variable. So that's, yeah. Or if the name is different than John, I will go to else statement or else part of if statement, and I will display welcome to this program, Ladislav. Okay, it's going to be displayed in the output. The reason why I'm showing this to you is because you as a functional consultant, sometimes there is going to be problem in a data or in some customizing, and some customizing can be loaded to a variable name. And if you change the variable content this way, and then you continue in the rest of the program, you may realize that the problem is solved. And the problem was specifically, let's say, either in a database table or in a customizing. So suddenly you don't need developer to even call him or get in touch with him, and you solve the issue by yourself. Okay, that's many times the issue. So that's the way how you can quickly realize this, and yeah, and move on. So let's take a look like what's going to happen. So now I changed the name. So LV your name is not going to be John. So I will get to else statement 5. Okay, and I'm going to write icon green light, welcome Ladislav on the screen, F5. Okay, let's take a look. F8. So this is the last button that you have seen me to use in a previous moments and session as well. So what's this button doing? So we don't want to analyze further this program. Just press F8 and program runs till the end. Whenever you are done with debugging, press F8. What it does is that it runs program as usual until the program execution is finished or until it does not reach another breakpoint. So since I don't have any breakpoint defined, debugger is going to be closed. Okay, so like this. Alternatively, go to main program within debugger and create breakpoint on the fly to see how to create breakpoints in debug session only for this debug run, for whole session. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So let me show you, like right now, if I would press F8, what would happen? I would go inside of this subroutine, F8, execute, then go out of this function module, and then would go out here to the main program and execute all the other steps, but everything would be run by SAP, and I would not see anything. Okay, so F8 finishes or executes the rest of the program and go to the output, or it goes to the next breakpoint. Let's do one more thing, which I didn't show you before. Right now, if I would create a breakpoint manually right here inside of the debug mode, let's click it right here. It behaves like I'm creating that by clicking, doing the right click on this left side, left bar in a debugger. And if I would press F8 from this line of code, from here, what's going to happen? I'm going to execute rest of the program and stop on the next breakpoint, which is this one. Okay, if I wouldn't have the breakpoint right here, I would finish the execution. So F8 once again, and that's how the debugger works. Okay, so I wanted to walk you through the program where I could show you like all the possible ways that you are mainly going to use on your daily basis whenever you will get to debug mode. So that you start understanding what's going on. So what we have covered is that like all the 4 buttons, like what they are doing and how they behave in a specific scenarios, so that you can understand how to navigate inside of the debug mode. The big part is the call stack that you will also have to navigate through while debugging your programs, and the variable list where you can display the data or display the content of your variables, and also to change the content of your variables so that you can change the execution of your program and just see if it helps, because sometimes it's when there is a data problem or configuration problem, you can do it this way even without calling developer. So hopefully the introduction to the usage of debugger was helpful. If you have any questions, ask me to the comments. So hopefully today we got closer to get you more independent in becoming techno-functional. So please let me know inside of the comments what was helpful to you. Was it really something that was helping you? Maybe you already know about these concepts. I'm looking forward to hear your feedback, because only this way I will be able to make it better for you, so that in the end you can move forward and I can help you becoming techno-functional. Bye for now.